Are we really putting this all behind us now? It's all just a focus now on production of Model 3s. Where does production stand right now?
Well, certainly the SEC inquiries and the investor lawsuits are definitely nowhere near past this, but definitely the attention will be turning back to some familiar subjects. The Model 3 and sort of how that interrelates with Tesla's cash position, which remains sort of precarious in the grand scheme of things. So the Bloomberg Model 3 tracker that was built earlier this year by our Tom Randall reporter here does show that over the last few weeks, somewhere in the range of 4,000 to 6,000 Model 3s are being built a week. So that shows that the momentum that Tesla built up at the end of June, when it did cross that 5,000 threshold that it had targeted for so long and struggled for so long to hit. They have been able to maintain some semblance of momentum, which is very significant for them.
Well, how many of those cars are actually getting into the hands of customers, though?
That's important, and obviously one challenge with this tracker is that it relies on registrations of VINs, which can be submitted by the company in big batches. So there are definitely some current concerns with short sellers who are almost obsessive with the way that they've tracked the launch of this car. You see photos on Reddit all over the place of cars parked in lots outside of the factory. There's definitely a delay in those cars getting into the hands of consumers, but I would caution against reading too much into all of the attention here, because you could go to any plant in the country, drive by GM's Flint assembly plant, for example, which I did all the time back around Detroit, and you would see just a giant parking lot full of Chevy Silverado pickups waiting for delivery. So it's not unusual.
Are people generally happy with their Model 3s when they get them? What have the reviews been?
Early on, it's been a little bit of a mixed picture. So I would say it's kind of similar to what we've seen with Model S and Model X, where you have people who the early buyers are fervent fans of the company and definitely want to support the brand. So even if they have serious issues with the car, there's been reports of bumpers falling off, or black interior door on one side and white interior on the other. Obviously, that's problematic and would really, tick off a lot of car customers.
Right,
but some of these people are just huge fans of Tesla.
The longer this goes on, the less Tesla is a sole competitor in this space, right? I mean, other companies are getting it together, and how long does it take to build a production line if you have the space?
Well, I think that's a key question. The other is, once you get past those diehard fans of Tesla and into sort of more normal consumers, people who aren't necessarily Elon fanboys, if you will, they're definitely going to be tougher to please and less accepting of some of these, sort of embarrassing issues that you're seeing with some of the early builds.
Craig, real quick about the cash situation. Does 4,000 to 6,000 vehicles, is that enough to really get them over the hump? I mean, they're still running a pretty significant deficit, right?
Yeah, I think you have to see 4,000 to 6,000 sustained over the course of the quarter, and for them to be in that range of 50 to 55,000 that they've said they would produce this quarter, for them to be cash flow positive and maybe to eke out a profit. They're pulling a lot of levers to get there this quarter.